It was a warm evening in Port Harcourt and everything seemed perfect. Tunde sat at a table in a fancy restaurant waiting for his girlfriend Amaka. He couldn't help but admire her strength and intelligence. Tunde was an investment banker, a proud son of the Oluro community, and deeply rooted in his traditions. Amaka, on the other hand, was a data analyst from Akita State, working for a big company in Port Harcourt. Their love story was like a whirlwind. They met at a business conference, and one thing led to another. They fell in love. Everything seemed to be going well. Soon, after 8 months of their relationship, Amaka gave Tunde shocking news. She was pregnant. She was nervous about telling him at first, unsure of what his reaction would be. But to her surprise, he smiled and held her hand. "We will keep the baby, my love. I want you to be my wife. Let's get married." Amaka felt relieved and overjoyed. She accepted his proposal, and soon they began to plan for their wedding. Everything was moving fast, and before long, Amaka was 10 weeks pregnant. But then, something unexpected happened. Tunde, who valued his culture deeply, informed her of a family tradition that she had to observe before their wedding. "You have to stay at my family house for 3 weeks," Tunde told her one evening after dinner. 3 weeks? Why? Amaka asked. "It's tradition, baby. You need to spend time with my family, get familiar with them, and learn how to treat me, their first son. It's just how we do things. And one part of this tradition is that you have to sweep the family compound every morning for 3 weeks. You also sweep the compound of the eldest man in my kindred. It shows that you are really ready to accept my family for who they are." Amaka frowned. "But Tunde, I'm pregnant. And the doctor said I shouldn't stress myself. Sweeping every day for 3 weeks sounds like a lot." Tunde smiled, dismissing her concern. "Amaka, come on. I've seen women do this even with big tummies. You are strong. You manage. It's not that hard. It's just tradition. Or don't you love me as you claim?" Amaka felt uneasy. "Please, talk to your family. Can't we skip this? Or find someone to do it and I'll pay them? I don't want to risk my health or the babies." Tunde sighed. "Babe, it's not done that way. Don't act lazy. Trust me, you'll be fine." Reluctantly, Amaka agreed. A few days later, she moved into Tunde's family house and began the sweeping ritual. Every morning, even though her back ached and her feet hurt, she picked up the long broom and swept the dusty compound. She did it for 2 weeks straight, but as the days passed, Amaka began to feel sharp cramps in her lower abdomen. She ignored them at first, thinking it was just fatigue, but the cramps grew worse. And one day, after sweeping the elders' compound, she collapsed. Tunde's family rushed her to the hospital. The doctors did everything they could, but it was too late. Amaka had lost the pregnancy. The grief was overwhelming. Amaka cried for days. The joy of expecting her first child had turned into sorrow. She was shattered. "I told you, Tunde," she cried. "I told you. I wasn't supposed to stress myself." Tunde was remorseful, but his words of comfort did little to soothe her. "Baby, I'm sorry. I didn't know it would lead to this. I didn't mean for this to happen. Please, don't be angry. There was no way I could tell them that you can't do it. And if you didn't, you won't be accepted into the family. But the worst was yet to come. According to his tradition, because Amaka had seen blood during the first ritual, she had to undergo another custom. She needed to shave her hair completely to cleanse herself. Amaka was devastated. "You got to be kidding me," Amaka said, shocked when the elders told her, "Baby, it's just tradition." Tunde tried to persuade her. "Once you do it, everything will be fine." Amaka was torn. The joy of planning her wedding had become a nightmare. Every step of the way, it seemed like there was another painful tradition to follow. She wanted to call off the wedding. "Tunde, I can't go on like this. I've lost our baby. And now this? I don't think I can do it." Tunde wouldn't hear of it. "We have come too far. The wedding is almost here. I love you. And we will get through with this. Please, just do this last thing for us. I promise things will get better." Amaka confided in her parents. They were outraged. Her father especially was furious. "This is madness. You have suffered enough. End this now before it's too late." Amaka's mother agreed. "Amaka, you better listen to your father. You have lost a child, and now they want you to shave your hair. All these are red flags, my dear. Leave that boy and his family alone." Amaka's heart was heavy. She thought of how far she had come, the love she still had for Tunde, and the wedding preparations that were almost complete. What would she tell her friends? What would people think? She didn't want to be judged, and the fear of being seen as unmarriageable haunted her. Despite her family's warning, she decided to go on with it. The day she shaved her hair was one of the saddest of her life. She sat in front of a mirror, watching as the old women took off the last strand of her hair. The room felt cold, and so did her heart. Tunde was by her side, holding her hand, but all she could feel was emptiness. Finally, the day of the wedding came, but the joy she had once felt was gone. The ceremony was simple, and though they were officially husband and wife, there was no excitement, no spark. The weight of everything that had happened lingered like a dark cloud. 3 years passed, and there was no sign of any baby. The silence in their home grew louder with each passing day. Tunde's family began to pressure him. As the first son, he was expected to have children to carry on the family name. "You can't be childless," his mother often reminded him. "This is not acceptable." Amaka felt the pressure too. She had been to doctors, prayed endlessly, and tried everything, but nothing seemed to work. One day, Tunde's family came to a decision. "If Amaka cannot give us a child, we will bring in another wife, someone who is fertile. 2 men cannot be in the same house." Amaka was heartbroken when she heard the news, hearing that her in-laws were projecting a new wife to Tunde. But she was sure that Tunde would support and defend her, as the situation at hand was not her fault in any way. One evening after dinner, Tunde asked Amaka for a few minutes of her time. "Amaka, I have something to tell you. My mother is pushing me so hard. I don't even know what to do. She had arranged a new wife for me. Amaka looked at him. So, what do you want? You are a grown man. Tell me what you want. Personally, I would suggest we explore other fertility options or even adopt a child, Amaka said. But before she could finish, Tunde yelled, "Adopt? Another man's child? A total stranger? No way. And fertility treatment is not even 100% guarantee. I can't waste millions of naira with no result." Amaka looked at him with a fake smile on her face. "Tunde, make up your mind. You can do whatever you want, but be rest assured that if you go on with your family's decision and bring a new wife into this house, I'm definitely moving out." Tunde continued, "Please, Amaka, consider my position here. I'm the first son, and my family expects much from me." Amaka got angry by his words. "I should consider you? Did you just hear yourself? Did you consider me when you sent me to your village for a so-called pre-marriage ritual? Look, Tunde, I have no words for you. Just do as you wish." Soon, a new wife was brought into the house, and Amaka packed her things and left. The pain of betrayal cut deep. She had endured so much, given up so much. If only she listened to her parents. If only she acted when she saw the red flags. But as Amaka left the house that day, she felt a strange sense of relief. It was over. The weight she had carried for so long had finally been lifted. She had paid the price for tradition, and now she was free. Years later, people will ask her about her marriage, and she will tell them one thing: sometimes, love is not enough when you have to choose between tradition and your own well-being. And with that, Amaka closed the chapter of a painful part of her life, determined never to make the same mistake again. This story teaches that love alone cannot sustain a relationship. If one partner is forced to sacrifice their well-being, it's important to stand up for yourself and recognize when certain practices cause harm, even if it means walking away from a relationship. And we should always prioritize your health, happiness, and self-respect over pleasing others.